It's time for a Wellness Revolution. Brought to you by Hotze Health and Wellness Center. Honest discussion on maintaining health and wellness naturally to enjoy a better quality of life.
He's the doctor fighting to let you keep your doctor.
Now, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
Welcome to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. This is Stacey Banfield here with Dr. Stephen Hotze, founder of the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. And remember to go to our website to download all of our podcasts, HotzePodcast.com. That's HOTZE podcast.com.
Have you noticed as you mature, your romantic moods and inclinations, your libido and your potency just aren't what they used to be? Well, I'm Dr. Steve Hotze, and I believe that you need a coach. You need a doctor and a staff of professionals to coach you onto a path of health and wellness naturally. So as you mature, you enjoy a better quality of life without the use of pharmaceutical drugs. I hope that makes sense to you. Sexual function, sexual abilities, sexual desires are all very important to a person's enjoyment of a full, rich life. As we age, those tend to decline. Now, there are ways that we already treat that. We use in males testosterone, which can have a powerful effect on men's romantic moods, inclination, their libido, and their abilities. In women, we use the natural female hormones as well, and that can be very beneficial. But in addition to that, there are, by the way, some men, because of prostate problems, can't take testosterone. So in addition to these natural bioidentical hormones that we prescribe, there are some peptides that can be used to help you achieve the goal of good, healthy romantic moods, inclinations, libido, and ability. And I'm with Dr. Don Ellsworth, who's an associate here at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. And Dr. Ellsworth has made it a real key study of his over the last couple of years to study peptides. And we now, at our compounding pharmacy, compound peptides. So we have another video you could look at, give you an overview on peptides. We want to really focus down on this particular Hotze function peptide. So why don't you just remind our listening audience what peptides are again, and then let's talk about this specific peptide.
Thank you, Steve. Peptides are simple chemical messengers that help the body be regulated in a healthy fashion. And when we lose peptides, we tend to see a decline in function. This particular peptide...
Well, let's say first, peptides are amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks. They're molecules in the body that are building blocks for protein. Proteins become enzymes and hormones and a host of other things, muscle mass and all that. So these are the peptide is a series of amino acids hooked together that isn't a functioning protein yet, and it can be incorporated to become a protein. So there's a specific peptide that we have called Hotze function to help improve libido and ability. So let's talk about that.
Well, what's very interesting and encouraging is from dose one, in many cases, especially in men, they'll see a response. It's very good at both increasing interest as well as function, erectile function. Women, interestingly, one of the things that many women will complain of is they kind of feel a little bit left behind in this area because there are, relatively speaking, more tools available for men than for women. This particular product, the Hotze function peptide, can help women in sexual interest, and it takes actually a little bit of a higher dose. But even used on a as-needed basis, women have seen benefit, and if they use daily, can see even more benefit. So,
well, explain how that works. How is that? Explain to our listening audience what the peptides affect, where they go, how do they do that? They're different than hormones, obviously. So,
well, what's interesting is because they go directly to the cell surface and send a signal directly to the cell, they're simpler in many ways than hormones. They don't have to go in and interact with the nucleus and actually gear up processes. So hormones, you typically see a response over usually not 24 hours or even days. It's more weeks and months. Peptides can have an effect that is in some cases almost immediate. As soon as things are absorbed, and certainly with this particular peptide, Hotze function, it can be rather remarkable. And I mean, for obvious reasons, you can see the results. And what excites me is we've had tools for improving this area, but when testosterone alone doesn't sufficiently correct things, and for many reasons, it's not always going to correct everything. There's the issues of the vasculature and insulin resistance. All these things can collude to make our vascular function not what it should be. Women, for various reasons, will see a drop in sexual response and interest. And the wonderful thing about the Hotze function is it's working by helping the brain's natural response start normalizing. And so you actually, unlike Viagra, which is just a chemical changing one particular substance, the nitric oxide levels, this is actually working to normalize your brain function in this area. So we're very excited about this potential. And it gives us just one more tool to address a very common, significant issue in people's lives.
So if you're having a problem in this area of your life, in your romantic moods, inclinations, and abilities, then I want to encourage you to give us a call here at Hotze Health and Wellness Center and set up an appointment to visit with one of our providers, and we'll help you get on track. Thank you again for joining us today on Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution, and thank you, Dr. Ellsworth.
Thank you.
Okay.
Information provided on this radio program is neither intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice and is not intended to replace the services of a physician, nor does it constitute a doctor-patient relationship. You should not use information from this radio program to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. If you have or suspect you have an urgent medical problem, promptly contact a professional healthcare provider or call 911. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution radio program advises you to always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new treatment or with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Any application of the recommendations from this radio program is at the listener's discretion.